So I wasn't planning to make this video. I usually don't make videos about TV shows, but I couldn't stay quiet after watching Peacemaker Season 2 finale because, yeah, I had a lot of thoughts. Okay, episode 8 of Season 2 came out on Thursday. I'm recording this on Friday. I recently just watched it. I couldn't watch it on Thursday because I had to watch Tron Ares. So yeah, I had a lot of thoughts regarding this episode, this entire season now. When it's about Peacemaker, I love Season 1. I think it was incredible. John Cena is fantastic. I love James Gunn's voice and the story that he told with that. So when it's about Season 2, it opened with the first episode very differently. It was kind of a depressing season. If you think about it, it's very similar to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. In Guardians 3, it's very depressing compared to other movies. James Gunn did the exact same thing with these characters. They're in a very dark place at first. They're in a very depressing and melancholic place. As the season was progressing, I was liking it. I was like, damn, I think I'm the filmmaking here and the writing is, I think it's much better than Season 1. I was very impressed. When we got to episode 6, I was like, holy fucking shit. This is without a doubt the best episode of Peacemaker. And then episode 7 got even better. And I was just thinking, these two episodes is the best thing I've ever seen when it's about superhero TV shows. And I love The Penguin. The Penguin was very good. Probably the best superhero TV show ever. But those two episodes of Peacemaker, incredible. That revelation of Earth X was very suspenseful and kind of scary. And episode 7, we had another reveal, and it's that Keith and Augie Smith are actually good guys in this world, or at least Augie is a good guy, which was also very surprising and very touching how it all went with that. But episode 8, like I said, it took me one day to watch it after it started to air, and a lot of people already had their opinions on social media. And I saw a lot of opinions, especially in TikTok, and they were not a fan of this episode. And at first I thought it was just bullshit because they started to say that it didn't have the cameos that they were waiting for, and I was like, there will always be people that don't like something regarding superhero movies because they were expecting so much and they didn't get that. But yeah, after watching the episode, I understand the other complaint because there are two complaints regarding this episode. And it's incredible because both of them are contradicting one another. It's contradicting the fan base for what exactly the fan base wanted for the season finale of Peacemaker Season 2. The first complaint is that this finale focused a lot in setting up Man of Tomorrow, and it didn't have an action sequence as a climax. Season 1 had that thing with a cow, and a lot of fights happened in that last episode, and nothing like that happened here. There was not a single action sequence in the finale of Season 2. And the other complaint that I've heard is that one, the fact that James Gunn with a tweet kind of teased people that, oh my god, something's coming, something that we are not gonna expect, a cameo, maybe evil Superman from Earth X or something like that, and nothing like that happened. When it's about the last one, I think it's kind of the fan base fault. Yeah, James Gunn didn't choose his words, the best words he could have chosen, but he didn't lie to us. He was right. We didn't expect a finale like this, and which is an issue that I have with him as a filmmaker, and is that this doesn't have to do anything with the quality of this episode, which is what I'm talking about, but I just don't like the fact that he's so open to the fan base with the DC and his films and TV shows. I think he's way too much open with all of this, to the point that things like that happen. But that's another episode, that's another topic for another day, and probably I will make a video about that. So when it's about that complaint, I'm like, I don't care. You know, I just don't, I didn't anticipate nothing like that. I anticipated a good finale with a very satisfying ending. When it's about the other complaint, I do understand. But at the same time, like I said, they contradict with one another, because the first complaint that I talked to you about is from people that we're not a fan that this last episode, focus a lot in the story of other projects, like Man of Tomorrow, the upcoming Superman movie. But the other fan base were complaining that we didn't have enough of that. They wanted more of that. What this finale needed, I think in my opinion, was a satisfying conclusion to a lot of things that were set up throughout the entire season, especially Earth X. That's easily the biggest disappointment that I have with this season, because when it's about Earth X story, that storyline, easily the best thing about this season. The most intriguing, the most interesting, the most heartfelt. When it's about the 11th Street kids, it's really awesome. I love all these characters, Vigilante, Adebayo, Hardcore. I love all those characters, of course, but that stuff with Earth X was so good. So, of course, I was disappointed in the fact that no one of Earth X, not even Earth X himself, came back in this episode. And in the last episode, they leave things hanging because Kid is very angry at Peacemaker, because from his perspective, and even Peacemaker's perspective, it's his fault that his dad is now dead in Earth X. So they left things open, and you're like, holy shit, the last episode will be about Kid coming to Peacemaker's Earth, and they're gonna have a big battle. No, he's not in this episode. He just doesn't come back to it. Damn it. There are a lot of things like that in season 2 that were set up, that were important for the Peacemaker character, but they didn't circle back to it. The best thing that I can think of to compare what Peacemaker season 2 should have done is what Iron Man 3 did. The villain of Iron Man 3 is a guy that he treated horribly in the past. And now he's coming back and he's doing a lot of mess in Tony's life. Tony Stark talks about it, the fact that the demons are gonna come back and stuff. And now he's a different man. He's actually treats people a little bit better. So all of that comes back. When it's about Peacemaker, in the last episode, he has realized, or at least he thinks, that he's the angel of death. That everything horrible that happens is because of his fault. And Adebayo has that incredible speech that she gives in the last episode, that it's not that you're the angel of death, it's that you're not hearing yourself. You should hear your instincts a little bit better. Which connects with Earth X perfectly. The fact that he was very happy on that Earth and didn't think the fact that probably there were Nazis, because they all were Nazis. Which was an incredible reveal, goddammit. Kid and Earth X should have come back to the finale to give that a satisfying conclusion and show how the character has changed. I was thinking a lot of a lot of things that could have happened in this season finale, and none of them were as close to what happened here. If you check the runtime of the last episode, it's 20 minutes longer than the 7th episode. And those 20 minutes, you can tell, that are very dedicated to Rick Flag Sr.'s storyline. And of course, how will everything connect to Man of Tomorrow? No. But no. And James Gunn has stated that he didn't want that for his DC universe, that he wanted all TV shows and movies to feel like their own, even though that maybe it sets up some stories. The stories by themselves can work perfectly. But with this finale, you can tell that, yeah, he fucked it up. He's not doing what he said that he was going to do. Because that storyline just feels completely out of place. And of course, everything is just hanging at the end of this episode. I read this comment on TikTok that perfectly sums up my opinion on this episode. And what the comment said: good episode, bad finale. That's a perfect opinion or comment on this episode, because if you think about it, if James Gunn came out and said, oh, it was a prank, actually that wasn't the last episode, there's one more episode to go, it will be like, oh, that's a great surprise. I'm very excited to see it. A good prank. If there was one more episode that could bring back that Earth X storyline to a very satisfying conclusion, and to end that Rick Flag Sr. storyline in that episode, it will be awesome. Of course, that won't happen. The another alternative that I have thinking about this season is that episode 7, on paper, would have been the perfect finale. Because if you think about it, it could have given us a tragic ending, because it's Peacemaker realizing it's my fault. All of this, I'm the angel of death, it's my fault. And next season, season 3, is he realizing that it's not like that. Like I said, on paper, I had to clarify the on paper, because of course, if this was the last episode as it is, it would have been incredibly anticlimactic and a cliffhanger for season 3. But imagine if they could have given us an extended action sequence with Keith, Augie, and Peacemaker in that house, and everything just blows up, and we have an epic finale, but then we end with that tragic ending. It would have been much better, a much better ending. But no, James Gunn wanted to continue with this story. And when it's about the way that it ends with these characters, I was very happy. The 11th Street Kids, the way that the fact that they opened their own organization to save the world, really cool shit. The speech that the bio gives to Peacemaker also. Hardcore finally revealing Peacemaker, yeah, there was something there. And then Peacemaker celebrating, that really was very touching. I was like, fuck yes with Peacemaker. That made me very happy. And everything is going great, and I was like, oh, this episode is not that bad. Then Peacemaker is kidnapped by Rick Flag Sr. Rick Flag Sr. throws him on this world, and that's the end. One of James Gunn's biggest issues as a writer is that he likes to put a lot of things in just one movie or one TV show. There's a lot of things, a lot of good ideas, and a lot of cool storylines in this season that were really cool, that were very impactful for the characters, but again, it just went nowhere. Michael Rooker's character, for instance, what does he do in this season? I guess it's a device for us to discover that Eagle is like this Eagle god. I like Eagle, but was that important? So yeah, there are a lot of things like that. A lot of interesting stuff. The Earth X stuff was my favorite thing about this story, this season. I just thought a lot of ways that they could continue that in the finale that were very awesome in my mind, and I was positive that James Gunn was gonna give me something unexpected but better than what I thought, but he didn't. That being said, I mean, James Gunn is extremely happy with this season. He has stated that it's his favorite thing that he has ever made, and you can tell in the podcast that he does, talking about every episode. He even started crying thinking about the final episode. Like, of course he loves this season, but I feel that he made this season more for him than for the audience. Because most people, I don't think they're that happy with this finale. I don't think it's like the worst finale ever. It's not a finale that ruins the characters and the story. It's that I feel so unsatisfying, so underwhelming for everything that they were setting up. That, again, Earth X. Yeah, people were thinking that evil Superman from that Earth was gonna come in and fight Peacemaker. But I wasn't thinking that. I was just thinking that it was such an interesting world. And the way that they left things with Keith would have led to a very interesting finale. So yeah, I'm underwhelmed. It was a great season until the ending. Not a perfect season. I don't think even the first season is perfect. But I don't know what you guys think about this finale. I don't know, like, did you like it? If you think it's been underappreciated and you see what Gunn sees, and if you hate it for other reasons that I didn't talk about here, please give me your comments. That would be really awesome. We could have an interesting discussion, because at least this finale will lead to a very interesting discussion when it's about storytelling, when it's about story choices. But yeah, I think I'm not worried for Man of Tomorrow's quality or a lot of James Gunn's projects quality. I'm worried that the fan base reaction get too exaggerated to the point that the DCU is gonna be affected by this. Because right now, James Gunn is in a state that if he makes one fuck up, it feels like everything is done. We're not gonna have more DC Universe stuff. Of course, you have to be honest. If you hated this finale, you have to be honest. I didn't hate it. I think it just... I had a lot of mixed emotions. But I think that it could have ended better. And I think where everything is going will lead to a lot of interesting stuff. I just hope that the projects themselves, like Man of Tomorrow, work by itself, not relying in other projects before or after. But the before, it's already guaranteed that they will need to rely on them. They will need to rely on this TV show. They will need for people to watch the Peacemaker TV show, all episodes, to understand Man of Tomorrow, the next Superman movie, I guess. So yeah, those are my thoughts. This was just, like I said, I pulled it out of my ass because I needed to get it out of the system. So yeah, guys, as always, thank you for watching and take care of your time.